some sort of spanner, aren't you?
Hello and welcome to the Video Gamer UK podcast. My name's Jim. Chris isn't here.
Where's Chris, Jim?
He's in Scotland, funnily enough.
What? That's your home.
Yeah.
That's your home. Just one house.
I elected
Number 1 Scotland, that's his address.
I elected not to go back. But yeah, so I've got hosting duties today, and two of us are ill, and it's probably not going to go very well.
Wait, what? Who's ill? What?
Tom's ill, and I'm ill.
What?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Dave, you're locked in a room with 3 ill people, because I'm ill as well.
Batten the hatches.
You ill as well, Brett?
Yeah.
No
Are
one
you
would
joking?
know. No one would know he's ill. It's so mild.
I think he's talking as in he is sick, yeah?
Definitely not.
that is
Definitely not.
No?
No. Did you say no?
I don't know what I said.
What did you do?
I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, joining me, as you've heard, is Tom Ori, Editor-in-Chief.
Hello.
Dave.
Hey!
Soon to be infected, Dave. You're catching all our
better
colds.
not be.
Drive Club correspondent, Dave Scammell.
Well, yeah, that is my current job title.
Brett Phipps.
Hello.
We've all been playing video games and stuff, haven't we?
Because that's what we do.
I don't know. I've not played anything noteworthy recently. I've just been sort of messing about. I played a bit of Peggle 2 over the weekend, but
Well, it's quiet time, isn't it?
yeah, it's all I had time for.
It's that-
So rather than asking people what have you been playing for the last week, I think I'll change the question slightly to what's been getting you excited this week.
Curveball.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for this, Jim. Bring back Bratters.
So, Tom, what have you been getting excited about?
About what's coming in the future.
Yeah, or just anything.
What was announced recently?
Forza.
That's it.
Yeah.
Forza.
Does that make you excited?
It was announced at like 1 a.m.
It's because of the time differences, isn't it, and stuff, Jim?
Yeah, well, yeah, but
Because
But,
it's a Ford car.
I don't
still
know.
felt a bit rude.
I'm not sure excited is the right word, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they've done to make it different to last year's one. I mean, the launch game, Forza 5, obviously suffered because it was launch game. They had obviously numerous issues around developing for a launch title and all that
Brett
kind of
loved
stuff.
it.
I did. It was still,
And it was still a good game.
Video game a 9 out of 10.
Still a
It's
good
really
game.
good.
But I think this will be the one that people will be like, right, you've had your time now. You've got an Xbox that works a bit better development tools, all that kind of stuff. And we've had Forza Horizon 2, which is very nice, looks really nice. And they've got to do something to kind of step it up a bit, particularly after Drive Club came out and kind of wowed everyone with its visuals. So,
yeah. I mean,
Well, as the official Drive Club correspondent, I feel like I need to come in at this point.
yeah.
What are they going to do? Because will it be able to look as good as Drive Club? I don't know. I mean, Drive Club is obviously a first-generation PS4 game, so you'd imagine that games will look better throughout. And obviously, I don't know.
I've certainly played that.
Forza 6 being a second-generation Xbox One game, do they have
think about, like, say, had Drive Club launched at the same time as Forza 5, Forza 5 may have ended up being the better looking game.
When was it
Drive
originally
Club.
due to come out again?
Because Drive Club
Was it
looked
launch?
garbage, didn't it,
Yeah.
originally?
Oh, it looked like dog shit.
So-
it looked like actual
And
turd.
if you think they can do a lot, they've done a lot in a year, didn't they? They fixed that an awful lot. So hopefully Forza can look a lot better.
That E3 demo, it's been 2
was
years
bad,
ago
yeah.
now. Oh,
We argue about Drive Club a lot, don't we, in the office? Because I still
well,
argue
you
that,
do. You are, but we argue about everything.
Yeah, but Forza Horizon 2, I still argue is the better game. By far.
They're totally different games.
No, but in terms of the we argue because I say that Forza Horizon 2 is
Diablo 3 is better. So what's the point here?
because visually, yeah, Drive Club is the
I
best.
think Morrowind's better than either.
Yeah,
of
there
those.
you go.
It's the best looking racing game there is, but as a driving game, I say it's pants.
No, actually, PGR2 is the best looking racing game there is.
Well, that's just all sorts
The
of
difference
wrong.
between them for me is that Forza Horizon 2 is a game that is great, really good, love it. But once you're done with it, you're kind of done with it. And I went and back and I did
Yeah,
this,
that's fair.
the Storm Island DLC. And
Isn't Forza Horizon 2 more about clubbing culture than it is about the driving?
wow.
The intro suggests it is.
No, that's like the meta.
Yeah, the intro is
Game.
the only bit I've seen.
Awful.
So.
But that Storm Island DLC, loads of people love it. Like there's some sites out there that are giving it really high scores, and I'm not sure I really agree with the scores that DLC's been getting because it's kind of more of the same but presented. I mean, similar events to what exists in the base game, but under different names.
I just find open world racers a bit eerie, sort of driving around an empty world with kind of disembodied cars everywhere.
Yeah. And Forza Horizon's always kind of suffered from that.
They
Like the
just-
original, like it was like Colorado or something, wasn't it? The
Yeah,
canyon
yeah.
setting, and it was,
They all do. Burnout Paradise was terrible for it.
But then Drive Club is a game that I can happily keep going back to,
To
and
the
like
same
do the lap
races.
times
Right,
and
yeah.
compete in that sense. So I mean, I have enjoyed them both very much.
The rain in Drive Club is incredible.
Oh, the weather
Like,
is-
I was looking at it with Dave earlier today, and it was like, just the way that the rain was being swept away. This sounds really, really nerdy, but the way the wipers were just like
Yeah.
so
And
accurate.
then when you go into a corner and the rain kind of moves across the
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
water
yeah.
that's on the windscreen moves and stuff. It's quite good.
Did you say that? Sorry, did you say the weather hadn't been reintroduced into the World Tour mode, though, the single player thing?
Yeah,
as
no, it
a,
hasn't, no.
That's really
No.
strange.
Yeah, it's only in DLC.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
But you can still like create single events
Right.
and put the weather on, but it's not the same as like having some events to actually go through.
Yeah,
like
'cause you're not
developer
competing.
created stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but. No, it looks really cool. And one of the things that often gets overlooked in games in general, really, is the sound. Drive Club sounds amazing, and the weather. It just the way the windscreen wipers sound when you're going, in cockpit.
Me and
view.
Brett were talking about this in the video we did yesterday, like how, well, we touched on sound design basically because one problem Brett had with Forza Motorsport 5 was how the crashes never sound really impactful. So they always sound like the same kind of dull kind of thud,
Yeah,
whatever the speed of the crash, whatever the... yeah, it is something that's overlooked actually because it can make all the difference.
I mean, when do people talk about sound? People are like, "Oh, Battlefield sounds great."
Yeah.
That's really the only one where people, I think, recognise
yeah.
sound. But
When you think about like the sound design in Wipeout 2097,
Yeah.
like the even just the voiceovers that tell you what weapons you've got and stuff like that, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
Like that game is like 60% what you hear. I'm going to go off on one now.
Do you think there's too much Forza? Do you think Forza's going to become
it's going to be annual now.
it's
isn't
like
it?
it's too many? Do you think they need to change? Like next year, do you think they need to do something other than Horizon? Needs to be PGR5, doesn't it? That's what people are. I'm hearing. I'm hearing that it's going to be PGR5.
I'm hearing one
Oh, you're
person
hearing
scream
that?
PGR.
Where are you hearing that from?
voices.
Voices
In your own head? Are these
Yeah.
voices in your head? I'd love to see PGR5.
That would work,
I'd
wouldn't it,
love to see
Dave? Imagine that. Imagine. They
Oh, it'd
go-
work, but I feel like PGR's done.
No, it
Yeah,
isn't.
who would
Dave.
make it, though?
There
Who
isn't
would you
a
want
game
to
like
make
it at
it?
the moment? What other game is like PGR? Nothing.
Yeah, but who would make it?
Forza
Because
Horizon.
that
No, it
studio's
isn't,
dead.
Dave.
The studio's who would you have?
Who
to
made
put-
Who made Geometry Wars? That studio's dead.
Yeah, but no, but I'm asking. No, I'm not saying. I'm asking you. Who would you
people
want
that
to
made
make
it still exist? They weren't all murdered.
Yeah, I know.
They're still
but would you
there.
have Playground make it though?
Oh, yeah, they can make
far as
it.
we're
Because
aware.
they're probably making Horizon 3.
Well,
That's
they
the
might
thing.
be, or they might be making PGR5.
Playground are great rally stuff. The rally stuff in Forza Horizon 2 and Forza Horizon was really good.
Mm.
And I guess because a lot of them are ex-Codemasters.
Mm.
That's where that comes from. But yeah, I'd quite like a sort of Forza rally game.
I think they need a break from. If they do one every year, I think it's going to become a bit too much.
Yeah, but too saturated, yeah.
They need a third racing
And
game
even
that is
like-
not Forza.
Every 2 years for motorsport. I don't know if that feels a bit
does
quick.
That's too
Microsoft
much.
need a third tier? Or,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Not
like-
necessarily branded as a Forza.
Yeah, I mean, I realise why the Horizon is branded Forza because that is their racing franchise, but it does make it feel like for the people that aren't like really into what's going on, that they're just churning out a new Forza game every year.
You could say about everything though, couldn't you? It's about Call of Duty.
I know, but I think I think it feels Call of Duty doesn't feel the same because it's always something. There's always a new campaign. There's always something. But racing games feel more.
You're
like,
still driving.
It
Yeah.
doesn't quite feel the same like difference. I don't know why.
You're
but
still driving a Ford GT around the same track, essentially.
I'm sure
yeah.
this is an argument. Like I'm sure people like Sony fans would love Gran Turismo to come out every year. There's an
Yeah.
argument. Their argument is they want more, but
But
I'm
again,
arguing for less games. But yeah.
I wonder if Gran Turismo will be a platform now rather than a game that will just be expanded upon and improved and tweaked and upgraded.
Well, like they did with SingStar.
like they did with all Gran Turismos.
No, but you know what I mean? Not individual disc releases, but...
Like GT6 was like massively changed, wasn't it, over time? Like they did the same with 5, didn't they? Like it was basically released, and then I realise what you're saying isn't what I'm saying, but it's not like they haven't been updating those games a lot already. But I don't know. It could be years before you see anything from that. But
Is there anything people have been playing that isn't to do with driving?
I've been playing a bit of Far Cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you finding it?
Yeah.
Have you finished it?
No, not yet. I'm doing all the side stuff still.
I still haven't finished it. Okay. Every time I load it up, I spend an hour just sort of dicking about, getting killed by rhinos, and then I turn it off.
Yeah.
It's like it's too much distraction in that game if you want to get through it.
But that's at Ubisoft, isn't it? Ubisoft game, so much to do other than the main game.
Yeah, I'll just jump on Assassin's Creed for an hour, and then like an hour later, you've just.
I thought I
opened
saw a
about 12
rhino in a
chests.
field the other day driving down a road.
What is it? Well, say that again.
I thought I saw a rhino in a field. Yeah, I was in a
The
car.
rhino was driving down the road.
I know I phrased that badly, but I was in a car that was being driven down a road, and to the side of the road is a field, and I thought it was a rhino.
It's probably just a horse.
It was a horse wearing one of those grey coat things.
A horse wearing one of those rhino masks.
Yeah.
Oh, this is in real life.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in Far Cry.
No, that's not much of a story, is it? I
Right.
saw one of the animals that are definitely in a game.
The first big DLC for Far Cry came out this week.
Ah, you say
Big DLC?
You say big.
Well, I mean, it's part of it. I guess they'd call
Have they
it.
announced what's coming down the line?
It's
or
a
not?
30-minute time trial
Well,
that takes place in a location that's already in the main game.
And what I was going to say is I haven't played it, but I watched that walkthrough. I watched that walkthrough of it being played.
Yeah.
And I thought, what is this? Like, what? Why is this? It's $10 for that.
Oh, 10 quid.
It's actually £10 over here as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my goodness!
It's like a tenner even $10.
We'll have to redub that dub that when it's revealed to be £2.99.
Yeah.
Well, we know it's $10 for what is essentially the kind of game that you can just make up in co-op if you want to. You know what I mean? There's.
But
nothing,
you compare it to like Dead Kings and stuff like that.
There's nothing
and that
substantial to it at all. Maybe Escape from whatever. Can't remember the name of the prison, but
Durgesh, is that it?
maybe it was meant to be like 99p, but you know when they realised they had to release Dead Kings for free as a goodwill.
How much was
gesture,
Dead Kings going to be? Do we know?
Going to be a tenner, I think. Wasn't it?
Because that seems to have been received quite well.
It was in that sort of 800 points tier. But yeah, I mean, it's quite substantial. Like Dead Kings, it's a new town and stuff. It's not. I don't know what they're doing with the Far Cry 4 DLC. I don't know why there's.
Well, they've got the Yeti stuff coming up, which I think is the main event.
Yeah,
the Yeti stuff will be
sounds more
cool.
interesting,
That sounds cool. But I mean,
well, that's the kind of thing though. If someone, I don't really buy. I don't think I've ever bought a season pass. I barely bought DLC really, apart from for PGR. And I don't know. The Yeti stuff feels like something that are Yetis in the game at all at the moment?
No, I don't think
Don't
so.
think so.
It feels
no.
like something that should be like a secret. Like you stumble across them when you're exploring and stuff, rather than something you have to pay for. But I don't know.
Are they actually Yetis, or is it a cult dressed up as Yetis?
I think it's sort of like Far Cry 4's equivalent to Blood Dragon, where they
Right.
just do something a bit mental for the DLC.
Well,
But-
they do mental stuff in the main game. Have you
Yeah.
got to all the drug bits yet? Is it Yogi and someone else? I think the name is.
Yeah.
Boo boo.
Where they- That's quite cool what they do with all the colours changing and.
Big basket. Yeah, but I don't understand the kind of the fanfare they're trying to give. Something that's. I hate it when people say this about DLC, but it kind of feels like it should be free, or at least like 60p or something. Yeah, it's a time trial mode.
Well, that's what I said about Drive Club's DLC as well. The stuff they gave away for free. I mean, I think it basically has like a £5 value or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you'd bought it, you'd be like, well, what?
But they are doing some good stuff. Like you're going to get the new area for free, aren't you? You're not going to
Japan?
Yeah, isn't that free? But
I'm
you're
not sure
you
it
don't
will
get the
be.
events, but you get the location. I thought that's what they said.
I thought you got new tracks within the existing locations for
Oh,
free.
I thought you got everything, but you didn't get like the
the
I
the
don't know.
events and the colours.
One of us is wrong, and someone will tell us. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll have to go
Well,
and
as the
research
official
it.
Drive Club correspondent,
Yeah.
my position here is at risk.
Yeah, stuff. There's not been many games.
Well, it's in that weird little lull period still, isn't it? Where
Yeah.
in a week or so, I imagine there's going to be loads of games in the office that we're playing, and none of us is going to have any time to come and actually talk about them here.
that's why we're doing Minecraft videos, right? There's literally nothing coming out. There's nothing
Doing
happening.
that because it was topical
Yeah.
and it was relevant and topical.
Did you see the photos from? I'm just going to go full Heat magazine. You see those photos from Notch's housewarming party?
I did.
Yeah.
There's lots of Selena Gomez chat in the office earlier today. Nobody recognised anyone else in the photos.
No, well,
I
there
think
was.
Brett said the name Selena Gomez about 40 times.
I know.
Yeah, and
I
also
got
because I
quite
couldn't
annoyed.
remember the name of the guy from Respawn. What was his name again?
Vince Zampella.
Him. He was there, and then that was it. That was all we could get.
I loved his pick and mix. Woolworths would be so jealous of that.
Do you reckon there
wall.
was a scale at the end so you could weigh and just see what you had to pay at the end?
He just bought like Woolworths' entire stock of pick and mix from about 10 years
We're
ago.
glad Woolworths weren't around to see it. God rest them.
There was 2 Bumblebee statues as well. One half the size of the other. And you think, why have you got 2? And I don't know why you have to ask questions
Why
to that
not?
man who's got all that. Yeah, why he's got
all
that
that
money.
shit came with the house, though, didn't it?
Yeah.
That Bumblebee stuff.
But the cars that are in there, I also think how you get them out of the house, because there's no way of driving them out, I
They're
assume.
just show cars, presumably. Like, just look at them.
Well, they just,
like
there's no
an E3.
engine.
Got no engine.
You can drive them
Yeah,
out.
what do you reckon?
The
Because
front of
they're
the
on
house
the
body
platform,
folds
aren't they?
open and you just drive.
But it does really like Tony Stark's house in Iron Man 3.
They don't sell you a house and like encase 3 fucking Bentleys in concrete in it.
Like
just
you
to put
can't
the
have
value up.
just lead lined, yeah.
It'd be a bit. No,
They're
no,
just
no.
beds. They're like those beds that kids have.
Did it come with 1,000 bottle of wines? What, bottles of
Yeah,
wine?
yeah, all in, and there was also like these guns. I don't know what they were made of. They weren't real
Guns?
guns. They weren't real guns.
Just
They were
the
like
thing,
art
the thing
house
I keep
ones.
wondering though, like the amount of maintenance that house must require
Yeah.
to keep functioning. Is there also some kind of when you buy the house? Is there also some kind of maintenance contract?
imagine
there?
so.
I reckon
Does he have
they
a
have,
guy
like-
that comes
Yeah,
round
so I
to
was
refill his
thinking,
M&Ms? Or?
Yeah, like the bar staff as well. Like there was a sushi bar. There was an actual.
He's got bar staff.
Well, he had to for that
Must have
night.
a gardener or
Yeah.
like pool maintenance guy.
Yeah, he doesn't have just bar
woman.
staff that are there.
I'm still very proud of that bar that I made in Minecraft. The pool, sorry, I made in Minecraft.
you
That was a
shouldn't-
pretty good
you shouldn't be,
representation.
really.
I thought it was pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that.
It's just like I mean I never had I never liked all that criticism of him when he bought the house. People saying he sold out and stuff. It's like look,
He did sell out. He
did.
sold what he made to make lots of money.
Yeah, but I
That's
mean
fine.
that's not a bad thing.
I don't think it
That's
was.
what
I
lots
don't
of
think-
people want to do.
It was when he says, "Oh, I just want to be left alone to make games," and then you see that, you just think, "No, you just want to live with your money and then just do it. Don't
Yeah.
try and justify. Just go and be extravagant."
Yeah, I mean
You
I
could buy all
had-
the Marvel Blu-rays and then
I was
Have a
on
good
his
time.
side,
Sit and watch
like,
him on a big
completely
screen.
on his side. You know, with all the criticism he was getting, because I was just like, you know, you're basically moaning about man with money spends money.
Yeah.
Why is this a problem
Yeah.
for you?
I don't like
I mean,
that.
he was loaded before he did the deal.
Yeah.
He was probably just sick of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, with all that stuff he was coming out with about how he wants to
Exactly.
be, I just want to get on with, you know, do my own thing. And
Yeah.
it's like you don't buy a house in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah. Stop trying to justify the fact that you're rich. Just be it. You know, stop worrying about it. You don't have to explain. You know, like one of those people, like he's just sitting
Oh,
there.
if I was not, you'd just go about kicking tramps.
You don't invite Selena Gomez.
do what you want.
You don't invite Selena Gomez to your housewarming party and try and remain, you know, normal. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just enjoy
Do you send
it.
invites for that sort of thing? Or is it just like a
Do you mean
Hollywood-
like with like a RSVP on a piece of paper?
Yeah, but like, do you send out like emails
probably
or
do it
text
on-
messages?
they probably-
Surely it's like, oh, Hollywood
Folk
party.
in that-
I reckon it's word of mouth. It just spreads. and
People in that
find out.
echelon of society probably do it the same way everyone else does. They make a Facebook event that nobody clicks on, and then 400 people turn up.
How many maybes do you think he got in that section?
Like 700.
Yeah.
Anyway, we better move on from that because I feel dirty now. That is very Heat magazine, isn't it?
Didn't see any pictures of Tom Cruise there though.
Well, he's too small, isn't he?
He'll be
Like the
sizing
picture
him
of-
up though, won't he? He'll be right there with a few leaflets soon, I reckon.
Tom Cruise gets
Anyway.
about. Tom Cruise he visited my hometown not that long ago, and what?
What for?
He went for an Indian actually.
You went for an Indian.
And
St.
No, he
Albans.
didn't.
No, this is true, and they didn't accept American Express, so he paid in cash, and for the inconvenience, I think he gave them a lot of money as a tip.
What inconvenience?
I don't know. It was in the paper.
Of trying to pay with an American
What,
Express card.
The
Yeah.
inconvenience to him that they didn't have the correct equipment to take his credit card.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is madness.
I'll have to dig you out the article. I'm sure that is what happened. I'm sure.
Have you been to the Indian that he went to?
No.
Right.
I was going to ask for a review.
Right, we need to can this chat about fucking Tom Cruise going for an Indian. Not that there's anything else to go to.
And someone bumped into him at E3, didn't they?
At E3?
1 year.
why was it E3?
Yeah.
Not at E3, but when people were out at
Oh,
E3.
you mean like in
He was in
LA?
like a hotel bar somewhere, I think. And
Someone bumped into him just cutting about LA. I
just
suppose
having a
it's-
drink in
It
a
is
bar.
where he lives.
I'm sure
isn't it?
that's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have dreamt this again, but I don't believe I did.
Well, I hope not, because
The only actor I've ever bumped into is Ewan Bremner. Most people probably don't know who he is, but Spud from Trainspotting. There's a massive gap between Ewan Bremner and Tom Cruise in terms of
There is a bit
sort
of a gap,
basic,
isn't there?
Yeah.
basic male attractiveness, but there's also kind of like Tom Cruise has sort of reached that point where he's firmly in the uncanny valley now because nobody that age should look that good, and it's actually just creepy. Whereas Ewan Bremner just looks like he's just an ugly bastard, so it's fine. So in a weird way, he's actually more kind of desirable to be around. Right, we've got competitions running on Twitter. I don't know if anyone's noticed.
Oh, there's bloody loads of them at the moment.
Yeah.
Doing my head in, all these blooming things coming
I
in.
didn't know anything about it, and then they started happening, and then
Yeah.
I fancied entering some of them, but I couldn't, could I?
Dave keeps trying to find ways to enter.
We've got loads of prizes coming out. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, today we got one starting to win Rune Factory 4 on 3DS.
Well, I'm not bothered about that.
And then
You're such a
the
cock.
Jesus, thanks for selling it, Dave.
Yeah, I know. It's all about promote the competition. Oh no, just skip this one. You're such a div.
Element Gaming headset and mouse. Sorry, at the moment we're running one to win an Element Gaming headset, mouse, and gaming surface.
That's a mouse map, I think.
Package.
For people
Gaming
that don't understand
surface.
gaming terminology.
Yeah.
Gaming surface is a mouse map, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
I may be wrong, but I can't imagine what else it could be.
Can we say the ones that James was talking about earlier?
Don't know. There's other stuff
I
coming.
mean, gaming surface.
There's
could
other
be-
really good stuff coming. Like, if you've got excited for that mouse mat, like,
Or Rune. Was it Rune Factory?
yeah.
Yeah,
Or
or
Rune
excited for
Factory
that.
4. Isn't Rune Factory like the sort of Harvest Moon spin-off thing?
I think so.
What do you mean you're not interested in that? Sounds quite good, Dave.
yeah, but it's got a shit name, innit?
He's definitely not the Rune Factory 4 correspondent.
Frame rate dog shit.
Frame rate goes to shit in that game. When you put 3D on, it's all gone.
Can we talk about the new 3DS rumours?
What the release date rumour? I don't know if we finished talking about the competition.
Yeah, I was
yet.
about to say, rude
sorry.
bastard.
Fucking
Shut
hell,
up, Dave.
Sorry.
What's the matter with you?
Jesus,
Just
carry
sit
on.
there and pipe down.
I was going to say there's going to be links in the description to things that will tell you how to enter them.
By the time you listen to
Possibly
this,
win.
they may have ended, so don't
I
get your
don't, think,
hopes
I don't
up.
think so.
Nah,
Unless
well-
you've listened really late.
Have you,
On Dave
you
or
know our
something.
track record in ending competitions, don't you? It's going to be a while.
If Bratis is responsible.
Those Halo t-shirts
It's like a
that get sent
2016 entry.
But I had a glimpse at Brat's DMs the other day. On the actual VideoGamer site.
Right.
It's just a string of. He was there, like I wasn't on his account, but
Oh, okay.
it's just this sort of string of kind of not angry, but just irate people inquiring as to the the member of the month competition and
From
stuff.
February
Yeah.
last year.
Just like 76 unread. Do you even look at this? No.
That's disgusting.
Brat generally, he'll only take action when I send him an email saying, "Can you deal with this?"
Yeah.
And then straight away he'll deal with it really well and very quickly.
Yeah.
But it has to have been escalated to an issue where someone has moaned.
Like an Amber Alert.
Has to get to the point where it's like it is actually an issue now.
Yeah, exactly. It's become a thing.
This is.
Other than that, he does a very good job.
I don't know. We're struggling at the moment because nobody's played anything. There's nothing that's come
I
out.
play loads of COD. I've been playing COD all the time.
Have you?
Yeah.
Advanced Warfare?
Advanced Warfare, yeah.
You any good?
I don't play it
What's
multiplayer.
your KD, dude?
I haven't played a single multiplayer game.
This is why I'm surprised you play COD.
I don't give a shit about multiplayer.
Is
I'm
there
really
anyone
upset that you don't actually play as Kevin Spacey? Because he
No.
was featured so often in the trailers.
He's in
He
it
should have
quite.
been the main character.
He's in it quite a lot as like the villain or
Sort of baddie slash goodie, isn't he?
Yeah.
Goodie slash
Yeah.
baddie.
I quite like it. It's quite good.
Yeah.
I do think that it doesn't seem. This is more of a Dave thing to say. I'm playing it on PS4. It doesn't feel as smooth as I thought it was going to be. I know it's got like
Frame rate?
Yeah. I don't. Doesn't feel as like a COD game felt. I mean, I used to always play it on Xbox 360. It's always 60. It just something feels off. I know it's meant to be like.
COD
slow
always
down
felt
from
like
time to
really
time.
silky smooth, didn't it?
It's meant to be right up there, apparently,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel like it is. I don't know what's going on.
Have you done-
Looks really nice. It's a very nice game. It's very fun. It's like full of stuff happening, but it doesn't quite feel like a COD experience. Because
Will Treyarch's game be as good?
I don't know.
And I'm saying this because it's a Treyarch game.
Yeah,
And people have differing opinions about Treyarch. I have to ask, has Treyarch ever made a good game?
Yes. Yes.
what's their history of games?
Black Ops.
See, I would say, didn't they do Spider-Man 2? That's the best game. That's the best game. Not the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
No, I know
was
you're
it
on
Spider-Man 2 on
Treyarch?
Xbox and PS2.
Who did the Wolverine game? Was that them or was that the other team?
No, that was Raven.
Was it?
Yeah, it was
I
Raven.
like
Yeah,
that.
That was meant to be good,
really,
wasn't it?
really violent.
I
That
like
was.
it.
Didn't
Spider-Man 2 is the best game Treyarch ever
Didn't
made.
Treyarch do Quantum of Solace, or was that someone
Yes,
else?
they did, yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't
Which
that
was-
meant to be all right?
It was all right.
We watched footage of that the other day, didn't we? And
Yeah.
that was where you hid behind a railing with all gaps in it, and you was protected from bullets.
No, I'm being harsh. Treyarch, they have gotten better.
Right.
Yeah.
Dave,
But-
you might be able to refresh my memory on this, because I've got this sort of little spark at the back of my head.
Yeah,
and I can't
yeah,
remember
yeah.
if it's real or not. I think it was the year that like MGM couldn't afford to make a Bond film, and they were just like, "No, there's not going to be any Bond film for a while because we've got no money."
Right.
So there was a video game,
Bloodstone?
Bloodstone. That's the one. Wasn't that basically like, well, this is like the Bond movie for this few years because we
I don't
can't
know.
make an actual.
Or was
real
that
one.
Everything or Nothing?
I don't know.
I think it was
definitely
Bloodstone.
came out because Bloodstone was
It's Bizarre's game.
modern era Bond, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Because
Daniel
it was,
Craig
it
Bond.
was
Yeah.
sort of kind of billed as well, not billed, but there was a suggestion that you're not getting a Bond movie for a while.
I mean,
Was
they've
it? I didn't know that.
They've kind of done it before, haven't they? Where they've had original Bond games, like they'd quite a few on like PS2, Xbox era, didn't they?
Yeah.
Natasha Bedingfield was.
Everything or
yeah.
Nothing.
Was that the good one, or was that
That was the third person Pierce Brosnan one.
that was quite a good one?
That was all right.
which is the one that had a train scene within a jetpack or something. Was that everything
From
on
Russia
Nothing?
with Love?
Yeah, it was from
No,
Russia with
that one, I
Love.
didn't
Yeah, I
like
was
that one.
gonna
That
say
was the
from
Sean
Russia with
Connery one.
Yeah,
No,
Sean
I didn't
Connery.
like that one as much.
But they had Nightfire,
Yeah,
Nightfire.
was that a FPS, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Nightfire?
yeah.
I didn't like that one as much.
Agent Under Fire, was that another one?
Yeah, that was a bit rubbish. And they had also had GoldenEye, didn't they? Which was a bit
Rogue
weird.
Agent.
Rogue
It was a
Agent.
weird one.
That was one with the cover where he had like it was similar to the GoldenEye cover, but it was a different face. He had like a glowing eye or something, didn't he? Yeah.
Was Everything or Nothing, was that a deliberate title? Because that was the last game that EA made with that license. Was that an issue? Was that them going, right, if this sells loads, we'll carry on making Bond games?
It was quite
doesn't.
good though. I think
Sod
it was
of
one of the
life.
better Bond games. That one.
Yeah, it was meant to sold.
Is that the one? Is that the one that uses the Need for Speed engine for the car chases?
No, was that
No.
Quantum of Solace?
No, there was one earlier. There was
Oh, of course,
it might
no,
have
it's
the
different
speed
developer.
engine.
It's different developer.
might
yeah,
have
of
been
course it was.
Nightfire.
Yeah, maybe Nightfire.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe Nightfire.
Possibly.
That's weird that it sort of changes into a different game for
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Because there's a real turning point where you're like, oh, hang on a
And
minute,
then it
this
goes
is
back to you shooting stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Bloodstone had driving bits as well, didn't
Yeah.
it? That was bizarre, obviously.
Yeah.
PGI, your favourite, Tom?
Yeah, but that wasn't the same, was it?
This is just memory lane now.
Some of those driving bits were crap as well.
Who was the Bond girl in Bloodstone? Because they made a thing about it. They're like, yeah, this is this year's Bond girl, even though it's
Joss
not a film.
Stone.
Joss Stone, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm remembering stuff now that I don't care about.
I went to the reveal event, she was there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did she sing?
I'm sure she was there.
Did she
Again, I
sing?
could have made this up, but I'm sure she was there.
Do you
No, I don't think she sang, no.
do you just make up memories and just pretend that you?
Well, that was so long ago now.
Did she not even do the title music?
I'd remember
of
if
the
Joss
thing?
Stone was in the same room
So
as
it's like a
me.
missed opportunity.
I'm
It's a
sure
rich
Joss
tapestry,
Stone was
innit?
there.
Yeah.
I was in the same room as Joss Stone. Also.
Can't say that.
I know. I realised as I was saying it. I
That
probably
was
shouldn't.
ages after that. Anyway,
Sorry, Dave.
getting back on track after that stealth
You know when
edit.
your brain goes now, you probably shouldn't say that.
It just stops you in your tracks. So hang on a minute.
Episodes from Dave's life. Hey, that's been half an hour. Questions. Let's just do it. Let's just finish it.
Well, you want to finish it now?
See ya. Good night.
I feel like
a good one.
this episode is struggling.
It's meandering a bit because there's nothing out. There's
We're not
nothing
allowed to talk
happening.
about anything.
No one
But
else,
there are
no
games
one
not
else
allowed.
talked about what they're excited about.
Let's-
I said Forza,
No,
and no one said anything
All right,
else.
Dave, what are you excited about?
Well, look, let's change the question. Let's ask the question:
Here we go.
is anyone excited about the games that are coming out in the next
Right,
month?
what's coming
or so?
out then?
So
Name
we've
them.
got Saints Row 4.
No.
What do they call it? Re-elected.
Re-elected
Yeah, re-elected
and
and
get out,
DLC.
get out of hell. I think I haven't played Saints Row 4, so I wouldn't mind giving it a go. But I don't think they've done much to make it look all next gen and stuff, have they?
See, I haven't seen it yet.
It still looks like a soggy painting.
It looked like just like the last gen version.
1080 60?
I don't know. I'm sure it's 1080. I'm sure it's 1080, but I don't know about 60.
It looks minging. Like the colour palette is
Well,
horrible.
Saints Row
It didn't
4,
look great on
Saints Row
3.
4 had that look anyway. That was the
That's what I
thing they
mean.
went for, didn't it? But I don't know. I think it's clearly just a stopgap before the next proper one. But The Saints Row it is amusing.
I enjoyed Saints Row 4.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they went all out with this stupid sort of superhero type moveset, and they made getting around the environment. Although you look at how it changed over the years from the original Saints Row, which was this like stupidly serious GTA.
The first Saints Row game is really po-faced.
Yeah.
And, like, the second one sort of has a bit of a departure.
A little bit, but it was still.
It was
and then
3 that went crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, 3 was great.
It's like a similar evolution, like when you look at the different eras of The Simpsons. Like, it's like at one point it's just a really sort of mum and pop kind of sitcom, and then The Simpsons turns into this weird thing where Homer's going into space, and anyway, it's probably
there's still something about it where it just
it's quite
lacks that
shallow. But if it looked better, I'd be more interested in it. Compared, like you look at GTA. And it just doesn't look anywhere near like
my
the same
problem
level,
with Saints Row is that it's just this kind of this shallow sort of studenty kind of humor. It's all kind of it's funny because it's random, and I can't get on board with it.
It's a 2-minute joke that lasts 20 hours. That's the problem.
Yeah,
some of it can be quite funny. Some of it can be pretty well
They do
written,
some good stuff
but
with music as well, don't they? They did in 3 anyway, like licensed tracks and stuff that they came in at like it just. Felt like it'd been well thought out, but
the moment they revealed the I can't remember the name of it now, but the DJ gun thing.
Oh, what's that? What's the style of music called? Dubstep
gun. When they announced that, it was amazing. The room was like in stitches. So funny.
But again, you got to play with that gun for a couple of hours.
Oh yeah, and the joke
That's
disappears.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It dissipates
Yeah.
very quickly.
So yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
Was that next week? Next Friday?
don't know.
I
It's
think
soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
What
then the week after Dying Light, I think.
I don't know what to think about Dying
Yeah,
Light.
it's
No,
really
me
weird.
neither.
Because Techland have got a history of making mostly poor games, in my opinion. They've
Can you name one?
got a
that was
good record for trailers, though, right?
I didn't mind the Western games.
Call of Juarez.
The first one was all right because it was like, have you heard of this Western game? Because before it became a bigger thing, and then
Guardian Blood
the second one was
okay.
all right, and then they did the horrible modern
Was
take
the
on
Cartel?
Was it the
and
cartel that was
just
terrible?
awful.
Yeah.
I never understood the Obama mask. It was just there. What? One of the characters just wears an Obama mask.
Because they're robbing something, aren't they? And
No, they're not. They're in the middle of a forest, like setting
Really?
fire to marijuana plants. It's like he's wearing a bar. I don't know what he's doing there.
Yeah,
It's like
That
they
sounds a
meant
bit
to
Saints
introduce
Row.
it and then never did.
Yeah.
that game clearly had issues.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, but the Dead Island games,
This is just going to be Dead Island, though, isn't it?
well, that's what it appears to be.
With
but
sort of Mirror's Edge
parkour,
parkour.
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think they've got better, and this is going to be a better game. But
It looks like it's trying to be more Walking Dead in terms of the story, where it's all about the people rather than the zombies as well. That trailer they did, where it was about the people in it, and there's like a dictator controlling the island,
yeah, but
the area
their
that you
trailers have
are.
never been anything about the games, have they?
No, the new one is about the game. It was like this guy that you speak to, where he tries to get you on side. It's like trying to do the Far Cry thing, where he's like a mad dictator, and it didn't do well in terms of trying to sell you to want to play the game. It was like too much story where you think, I just want to slash zombies. I don't want to be shooting rifles at people. That wasn't what Dead Island was about at all.
I'd love to know the specifics about the relationship between Techland and Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers are not promoting it at all. It's all coming directly through Techland, or Techland's PR agencies, essentially. And I don't know how much sort of publisher-wise Warner Brothers is actually putting into it. You feel like they're a massive publisher with presumably a very big budget for stuff like this. There's someone's stomach there. Was that you?
I think so, yeah.
Blimey.
Maybe WB just don't know what to do with it.
I find it a bit odd though. Like a developer, this is very. Unless they're a
Maybe
distributor.
Warner Brothers are like it's not Lego and it's not Batman. So we've got no
Yeah,
idea.
like you say, maybe I'll just the distributor.
But it would be like, I don't know, think of a developer that's published by someone else. I can't think of it.
Well, it's
I don't know, imagine like
Titanfall,
like
in a
Traveller's
way.
Tales. They're the who make the Lego games, right?
Yeah.
Imagine Traveller's Tales promoting the Lego games. It just doesn't happen. It's Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's odd.
No idea.
Yeah,
Does
so
it
there's
Evolve
that.
after that as well?
And then Evolve a week after that, which I still...
Evolve.
I stand by what I said last week.
What's that?
I just think it'll be this Jen's Brink.
I'm still really looking forward to it. I really am.
I think the with the greatest respect, they seem to be very confident about it.
It is Turtle Rock
Especially
as well.
what's been coming out as well, that there's like $50 worth of DLC.
Well, you see, this is the
at
thing that
launch.
sort of annoys me a little bit, because they made a big thing. Originally, they were like, we're not going to charge for maps. And everyone was like, oh, the way that, Turtle
But
Rock...
they're not,
and-
are they?
They're not.
No, they're not. But it was this whole sort of, I love the way that you're approaching DLC. Suddenly, like 3 weeks before launch, we've got an absolute shit ton of DLC available around launch, by the way.
They haven't. I mean, there's the DLC, the season pass, does feel a little bit.
They're always going to have
It
DLC,
feels a bit
I know,
dodgy. But then the way they've got like you can get the game and the season pass from the store, the Xbox store, PS store, whatever, for like 46 quid or something.
Yeah.
No, I have 70 when I looked last night.
No,
No, it's 46
That's-
quid.
This is the one with the season pass. I think there's one that comes with everything else as well.
Oh, right,
That's more
okay.
Yeah.
expensive because they're going to release other stuff outside the season pass, which is
Yeah.
where it all gets a bit weird.
And when I interviewed them, they said that like there's some like the Call of Duty thing, you can't play against people who have the season pass if you haven't got it. But if in Evolve, they said that you can play against people who have the DLC content, even if you don't have it. Like if say a guy's got the new monster that you don't have, you can play against them as that monster. There's no wall that you can't pass if you don't have
It's
it.
because the only stuff that you pay for is
It's characters,
and-
yeah. So you can
it's
play
part of
against the DLC
It
monsters.
does
even if you
rather
don't have
suggest
them.
that the DLCs are just unlocks rather
Yeah,
than,
yeah.
There's a part of me that would rather pay for maps than characters.
But then it divides the. If you're saying it won't sell it divides the user base even further. Whereas at least this doesn't divide a user base. It doesn't divide players at all. You can play against the monsters that you don't have, and then you can play across all the maps. You're all going to have them, so it doesn't. You're all going to be playing together no matter what.
We saw some buzz last night about the PC Monster Race edition.
Yeah.
On, yeah.
There's something about Evolve, I don't know, just...
Like when I play, I still really look forward to it because when I got to play, it was really good. But it definitely requires a
I
group
hope it
of
manages
players.
to change my mind. I really do. I really hope it is
It clearly
as good
seems
as...
like a game that is only going to be good when you get with the right people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
I imagine-
Left
Or
4
when you
Dead
play
was
as
I
the
like
imagine
that.
if we all played it together, it'd be good. But then I imagine if I went and played it randomly with some people that don't know, won't speak to, etc., it'll be pretty average.
Well, hopefully, because the one thing that was, like, again, when I played, I didn't know the people I was playing with, and we were communicating, but there were times when we were quiet, but because the roles are so specific, like the assault, the medic and all that, it's naturally breeds teamwork, and again, it does help if you're communicating, but because you're so, not limited in what you can do, but it's so defined in what your abilities are,
Yeah.
hopefully, even if you aren't talking, that helps in terms of, this is your job, you do that. This guy has his job, he'll do that.
Yeah.
And again, if you're playing on your own, you can elect to be the monster.
Yeah.
When I played the beta, you join a game on your own, you do it like, first choice, I'd like to be this character, second choice, this, third, fourth, fifth. You may not always get your first choice, but hopefully, like you say, when you're playing on your own, you can be the monster and you don't have to do any teamwork at all. And they might try and cater it so that, again, parties will go in a group together.
My impressions of the alpha, and admittedly I didn't play all that much of it,
Sorry, the alpha, yeah.
but I was almost expecting it like a sort of hunting nature type thing. Like you're a group of hunters tracking down this beast, and then you've got to work out how to kill it. And I was expecting a sense of when you actually finally do discover it, it was like, oh, there it is. That sort of
Like
feeling.
David Attenborough.
And like, yeah, no, to a degree.
Like you don't go straight
Yeah.
after it, you're like, oh, there he is.
Yeah, to a degree. And it's like, right,
it
how are we
doesn't
going to
work
do
though
this?
because somebody's in control of the monster.
Exactly.
It's like
and because the other people I found were just like, right, just going to shoot it. From
yeah.
here. And
That
it's
is
like-
what you have to do, though. You're
So
not
I
going
know.
you wanted to sort of slowly creep up to it, like with a documentary crew.
Yeah. just analyse it, take pictures.
Talking wistfully about how it's fucking teabagging the fox it
not
just killed.
quite, not quite like that, but you know what I mean. I was expecting that kind
Yeah, I
of.
think that it as an idea for a game, it sounds good. But
Sounds
that
like
wouldn't work.
Pokemon
As
Snap.
a multiplayer game, it doesn't
Yeah.
work, does it? With the monster being controlled
But then
by
I
a
found
person.
it
Yeah,
just
the only way it'd work out is if you were playing with people like Brat.
If they
Yeah,
had
who
it, they
says
could,
let's not kill
they
it?
could have had the monster AI controlled, and that kind of it could be more hidden, and you could have to work more to find it, I suppose. But I don't think that's the way they've designed it.
But it kind of felt like a kind of almost like an MMO type combat situation where you have your individual roles.
I don't know about an MMO in terms of the combat.
There should be a twist in Evolve where it turns out the monsters are the good guys.
Healer, and then you have your support, and you have your, everyone has a defined role. And I don't know whether it will vary enough, or whether you'll just go in, you'll know exactly what you're doing.
Imagine that was one of the character classes in Evolve. Like, you got your 4-man team, you're the hunters, and you sniper, blah blah blah, and then you had a 5th guy who was the cameraman. How amazing would that be?
Well, that would be amazing.
And then you had
DLC.
another 4 guys who were doing the catering.
Yeah. Well, one of the support things is a robot, and you can take off his head and throw it up as like a UAV camera to try and find the monster.
Yeah.
And then track it as a UAV. Like, you take a picture of it and then it tracks the monster for a while. So it's in a bastardized way.
So it's sort of like you got a drone that can take the trailer shots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can track.
I'd have so much fun as a cameraman. That'd be the best one.
That is the most terrifying thing you've ever said. That is the worst thing you've ever said on recording, because we know what you mean.
If you weren't,
we know
in
we
the
know
context of the person saying it, that is
exactly,
terrifying.
because are you still talking about Just Evolve?
you're invulnerable. You're immune.
From prosecution, do you mean?
You can go around and
Why would you
record highlights of the
like,
battle. That'd be
why
great.
would you be
then release
immune?
them.
Why would you be there? Surely the whole point would be that they have to protect the cameraman.
Yeah, because
No.
cameraman, it's not like he's got a vest on that says press and he's
Yeah.
not going to be eaten.
Yeah, remove the risk. Just create like highlight reels, but it's actually user created.
Should it be better?
You're talking about
if
like
the
a
cameraman
drone?
could get hurt.
Yeah.
It'd have to be like a real cameraman can get hurt.
Yeah.
They go and record
I do like,
nature and
Do you
stuff.
think that an
do
enemy
like
doesn't
that.
shoot
Through the
the
bushes
press
and that
journalist
then.
just because he's got that vest on?
I'm not saying that.
like imagine like a massive sort of procedurally generated MMO, right? And you form like your band of people, and you're like, right, we're a documentary crew. And there's no guns or anything like that. It's literally just we got to get shots of increasingly rare animals and then sell them
Didn't
to the
Sony
BBC
make
or
this
whatever.
game? Kind of. Was this not all Africa? Was it Africa?
Was this really a thing?
Kind of.
Well,
Sounds like Pokemon Snap.
I said this 5 minutes ago. I said Pokemon Snap.
But you could imagine, imagine a game that's set up in such a way that the conflict with other players isn't in, shooting at each other. The conflict is purely in, the race to get shots of particular animals and whatever.
But imagine us as a crew sneaking up on the wildlife, just trying to get this perfect angle for the shot, and then Dave, thinking he's fucking invulnerable, walks up to this giant animal and it's like, click, and the flash goes off, midnight. It's like, clink, thank you, and then just turns around and just gets his arse eaten. Like, he just gets chewed out, just dead in the middle. Like, that's it, that's the cameraman dead. We're screwed. Thank you, Dave. Off we go.
You have to be really quiet in the real world when you're playing it because it'll have
Because of the mic. Yeah.
It'll have a mic and all that shit. You can just have a.
That's an option in Alien, isn't it? It's like, would you like to turn your
Really?
PlayStation camera on so it can hear what your reaction? No.
Really?
Well, you'd be fucked because you'd be like, oh, hello.
Hello, Mr. Alien. So what is it? Hang on a minute. What,
Can't deal with that.
if you react, how does it change? What changes in the
Hears
game?
your noises and stuff, doesn't it? So the alien can hear you.
It can. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's terrifying.
I don't know who would
Yeah,
play
yeah.
with that
So
on.
if you're playing in a house with like children in it and they wake up and start screaming as children are wont to do.
Yeah.
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 No.
Back to Evolve though. It's a shame. If it was just Left 4 Dead but with monsters, it'd be an easier sell for me. Like I'd know what I was getting a bit more. Still feels like I'm not quite sure how it's all going to be, even though we've had the alpha and stuff. If it was just Left 4 Dead but monsters, I'd be more into it, I think. I realised that they probably didn't want to do that because that is the easy option, is just copying their form of
Isn't it
success.
just Godzilla online?
No.
That'd be good though. Put it in the city.
No, 'cause there is
That
a
would be
Godzilla.
quite
There's a
good.
Godzilla game coming
That
out.
would be good. But instead of trying to shoot Godzilla, you're a news crew and you've got to get shots of Godzilla.
No,
Sorry.
Cross Godzilla with Battlefield.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You've got tanks.
Have you seen
planes.
Godzilla when they try and shoot it? Have you seen what happens? Nothing happens.
Yeah, he has like that jet of like fire air, doesn't he?
But does anyone ever win when they try and shoot Godzilla? When a SWAT team shoots Godzilla, does anyone ever get the better of him?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What a SWAT team with rifles shoots Godzilla and then he does anything other than just
You
go,
could
oh,
do
that
like
itches.
King Kong. What was the game?
Usually the bullets make him sneeze, and he kills about 30 people just doing that.
That War of Monsters thing. No, you're not talking about
no,
that.
the really old retro one.
Retro City Rampage. No.
Climbed up the
Rampage.
building.
Rampage.
Smashed was it called Rampage?
Rampage.
Imagine that, but like with Battlefield.
You're making a really
right.
shit game.
I'm not. I'm making a great game.
You're not. You're making the worst game.
That's Evolved
the
2.
cameraman
That's
game.
Evolved
I
2
prefer
right
the
there.
cameraman game.
The cameraman game's better than Rampage with Battlefield.
I'm telling you, documentary crew / news crew games.
And every level can be
somebody
something
needs to make
different.
that.
Like you can do one level could be the Godzilla level, then you could have the wildlife level.
Yeah.
You can have
Licensing
the
would be a nightmare.
underwater level, filming sharks and stuff.
Yeah.
Someone's going to make it, and we're going to have to
Like,
sue them.
like basically every couple of missions, something terrible happens downtown, and you've got to go and cover it.
There is a game on Steam at the minute where you play as a scuba team of like 4 people, and you've got to basically, you've got to excavate and dig for like gold and that. But while you're doing it, there's loads of sharks trying to kill you, and all you've got is a knife. That's meant to be
Is that
quite
the one
scary.
where people actually play the sharks? Isn't there?
I don't know if people play
I'm
the
sure
sharks.
there's also a multi. I don't know if it's the same thing, but there's a multiplayer game on Steam at the moment where it's just divers versus sharks.
That's I think. You might have to play the shark. Yeah. That's it. And you've got to get the gold.
The sharks are another team.
Yeah, that's
so-
right. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd always want to be the shark, though, wouldn't you? You wouldn't
Yeah.
be the fucking diver.
Yeah.
It's making me sneeze.
Are we like Godzilla?
Unless they even make the sharks pick up gold and excavate and stuff, and they don't even have like fingers. So,
Yeah, that's true.
so
Yeah.
distinct disadvantage there, but it's
Yeah.
probably a balancing thing.
Is that it, Dave? Have we finished our look forward for the games coming soon? Is that it?
What else is coming out?
Bloodborne. That's the only one we need to worry about.
That's
isn't it?
way off.
That's March, isn't it? Oh, no, it's been put back again.
It's March, yeah, but that's still. Is it end of March?
I'm
Bloodborne.
getting texts from
Yeah.
Brat. Brat's arrived in Scotland.
Has he said anything offensive?
Yeah.
Has he taken over?
Well, he texted me last night saying, "Does Scotland have airports?" Which I ignored.
As soon as he's flying to one, I should hope so.
Yeah.
And he landed at Edinburgh Airport and said, well, airport's a bit of an overstatement for this place. Scotland can't really support air travel. And then he's found a house, a random house, and asked me if it's one I used to live in. So that's Brad's chat at the moment. That's what I'm going to get the whole time.
Yeah.
Is there. I'm
He's
gonna
dead
ignore
now.
it. Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah. I don't know what else.
No,
coming
we've got
up.
a few questions. I think that's probably enough.
Yeah. Dave is going off to make a camera crew.
Let's get this shambles over with. No, somebody needs to make that news crew game. I'm telling you, like, make it open world. Just like stick it in a massive city where just shit can go down.
Godzilla online.
Yeah.
Tanks, planes,
Automobiles.
everything. Before the questions, 3DS. People listening to this will probably know when the 3DS comes out.
Oh yeah,
by the
because
time-
Nintendo Direct is today, isn't it?
But yeah, I mean, the rumor is that it's early February,
Yeah.
Early February.
which feels quite far away.
Yeah, but probably ties into a couple of game releases, doesn't it? I imagine.
Maybe, yeah.
It's Monster Hunter is until March, is
I
it?
don't know if they dated it, have they?
On Amazon, I'm sure it was listed as
I
March.
don't know.
Majora's Mask could be any time soon, though, couldn't it?
Yeah, but that's had leaked
Monster
promo materials.
Hunter is like Monster Hunter for me. It's a series of games that I enjoy for 3 hours at a time and then never look at again.
I've never got it.
Yeah.
I don't get. I don't understand it. I don't get
I've
why
always
it's good.
come close to getting it. Like I feel like, all right, I'm getting into this now, and then it just never does.
Do you
the
look at
final
it and go,
grab.
yeah, I get it, and then someone goes, do you understand? No.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully next week we'll be able to talk more about the new.
Someone
3DS.
kept telling me that, like, oh yeah, if you like Skyrim, you'll definitely like Monster Hunter. And they're nothing alike.
Well, I thought that people that like Dark Souls would like it because
Yeah.
there seems to be a lot of crossover in terms of people that I follow on Twitter and stuff. The people that like Dark Souls really like Monster Hunter, but then Brett likes Dark Souls and he doesn't like Monster Hunter. So
Yeah.
that blew everything out.
My lady friend loves Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Brett's a bit weird though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like an MMO.
Like Evolve.
Kind of. Evolve? I didn't say Evolve was like an MMO.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
Get him.
fucking did.
The
you
combat-
liar.
Get us
the
under
combat
control,
system
Jim.
is-
Get
Yeah.
before this spirals.
Sorry, I deal with kids all the time. I'm just get tired of it. Right. Questions. Let's finish this.
Tell me what you
Shambles
think about
off. We've nearly done an hour now. We can go home soon. Right. Firstly, Tom Lee C asks, what if any, games mags did you read growing up?
What?
Shit, I knew I forgot something.
And did your desire to write about games come from reading them?
Yeah,
Yep.
probably. I read all of them.
Yeah.
Same.
So we need to know.
I've been going through all my old magazines recently. Last night, I found a copy of Edge.
Yeah.
It was from 1996.
What was
it
on
was
the
the
cover?
Nintendo 64, The Verdict issue.
Cannot believe you still have these.
Is that the one that gave Mario 10 or not?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that issue. I
Yeah.
read that review loads.
Yeah. I was going through it. I had a thing as a kid, it turns out, of
Something weird.
of cutting out pictures in the magazines.
Dave.
Why?
Yeah, and
What
obviously
did you do with
sticking them
them?
somewhere, I don't know. But I was very disappointed when I went back and there's all
Up your
cutouts
arse.
in this magazine. Anyway, very odd for Edge, I felt. But their closing remarks, it's like it's on the back page. And it's almost like this closing letter. And they were recalling their trip to E3. Now, I haven't got the issue to hand, so I'm paraphrasing, but they were talking about how their highlight of the event was them going and visiting the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah.
And I thought,
What?
can you imagine if this was Edge of 2015? Like, I don't think they'd ever say that.
Can you imagine if can you imagine if anyone even just mentioned it in passing that they'd done that?
Well, I'll have to bring the
from a
issue
games
in.
publication.
And I bet it had all these pictures of Playboy playmates and
I
things
suppose you
like
didn't cut
that.
those ones out as well, Dave.
Yeah, I
Well,
found
they
it
were
very.
stuck
I found
somewhere.
it.
This is the origin story.
Yeah.
But you know,
But yeah, to answer the question, I spent all of my money on magazines.
Yeah.
Like at one point, I swear I was buying like 10 magazines a month.
Yeah?
It was constantly magazines.
I
All
was
of
similar
them.
to
Especially with the free
All of
demos
them.
as well back then.
And it wasn't like I just doesn't matter if I had a demo on it or not. Like every magazine, even I used to buy like SNES magazines. I never had a SNES. Used to buy the magazines just because I like reading about games. And like Mean Machines era was good, but then they had like PlayStation era magazines were really good. I thought there was lots of variety.
yeah, they were good. Yeah.
And then it kind of all everything kind of all blended into one eventually. But
Did it make you want to write for magazines?
yeah, it did.
That's what led to where you are today.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Similar to me, really.
As a kid, I loved the Games Master Christmas special because it had so many reviews in it. And
Games Master I never bought. One magazine
not?
I never bought ever.
As a kid, I always bought that.
No.
And then OPM, obviously, for the
I
demos.
used to. I had a subscription to OPM, and to keep them nice,
What do you mean to keep them nice?
I used to laminate the covers.
Fuck off! You are the weirdest human being I've ever fucking met. Why do you?
and
Why
then
do you
I'd go
still
and
keep them?
photocopy the review of Final Fantasy
So
VII.
you-
remember that?
Why do you still keep these magazines? And why on earth
Right.
did you laminate them?
Right, simmer down.
So you laminated the covers, but you cut out the pictures inside.
I'll tell you what, I was going through it, I found a copy of Loaded as well, right?
Did you laminate that, or did you self-laminate?
I'm like,
Every page you laminated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Loaded
people at
magazine.
home, if you're
Photocopies.
from our generation, you may remember this. I remember a copy of Loaded came with a magazine, a games magazine.
I think
I
it
can't remember what it
probably
was.
did, yeah.
Did it?
And
Yeah.
it was it had the girl who used to be in Casualty or something like that on the front. If you have this magazine as well, and you got it free with this magazine with another one, you'll know exactly what I mean. But yeah, I was like, oh my goodness.
I refuse to believe the fact that you bought Loaded for the Games magazine as
Peak
well.
90s.
No, he
what,
bought-
what
No,
was
I
your,
bought a games magazine for Loaded.
Brett, what was your favourite games magazine?
Probably
Or publication?
Probably the OPM, and then I went up to like OXM when I got an Xbox, and it was just because of the demos.
What was,
All
the,
right,
what was the N64 mag? That was really good.
Yeah, I can't remember. Was it just called 64?
It was the one that had like the 4 buttons. It was called
Did a load of import stuff, didn't it?
and it was the one that everyone loved.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like the official one or anything. What was it called? It was like
I'm sure it's just like 64.
wasn't it
64,
64 mag or something,
Or
yeah.
64 mag or something. I don't know. But that was
I know
like,
what you mean. It had the four.
that was really good. But
Yeah.
there were loads of good like multi-format mags as well. Like there was like Arcade magazine. Did you ever get that?
Yeah.
I think it died quite soon.
Yeah.
There was another one called like Total Control. Or
I
something.
found one called Engine the other day.
Yeah.
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 I used to buy all of them. When there was a new magazine,
I
it was
remember
so
that.
exciting.
Remember Engine?
Yeah. My favourite magazine growing up was, well, two favourite magazines were Amiga Power and Amiga Format.
Goodness me.
I never bought the Amiga ones, so I didn't have an
Amiga
Amiga.
Never
Format.
had an Amiga, no.
Amiga Format and Amiga Power were like that great example of games magazine that all you know, all the good ones had all those in jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
And
PC's Own. That
Yeah.
was a good one at the time.
PC Zone was a good one, yeah.
I remember going to a car boot sale and buying an absolute shit ton of really old magazines for 10p each. It's like old Games Masters for 10. And I'd come back home and Mum was like, why have you bought magazines that are about 5 years out of date? I don't know. just
You've got
fancied
a-
reading.
I want to look
Cut
at
the
the
pictures
pictures.
out.
Cut the pictures
I
out.
want to see if there's anyone who's been in casualty.
Yeah, see if there's any loading inside of.
Oh no, it might have been Holby City. It was one or the other.
You know what? If Amiga format started coming free with loaded, it wouldn't have died so dramatically. I remember getting the last issue of Amiga format and being really sad. It was one of those Amiga magazines that continued for like 2 years after the actual platform itself died a horrible death.
Yeah.
When Commodore went under and whatever. Yeah, the Amiga community is still going today as well. I check in on it every now and then. I'm
Oh,
like,
really?
You guys still here? And there's like 3 people arguing over like what's the best version of fucking Dizzy or whatever. And yeah, just let it go, guys. Right, got a question from Thomas Quillfelt.
There's another Thomas. There was 2. The other one was Thomas, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah, Tom. Yeah. So Thomas Quillfelt, with Steam machines and GTA 5 PC getting delayed, are Valve and Rockstar the only companies who can afford proper quality control? I think it's
What?
maybe slightly unfair.
I think
on
he's assuming that because they got delayed, those things will be bug free.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
doesn't like.
Well, what's going on with
mean
Steam
that,
machines?
but
At the moment?
Rockstar's games have
Didn't-
always had loads of bugs.
Yeah, Steam machines. I don't know. Didn't they say something?
They're going to be at the forefront
They're
of
gonna
their
be at
next
GDC or something?
Yeah, Steam machines are apparently front and center.
I don't know. Like, we'll see what
If
happens.
they can get a Steam machine down to like 400 quid, it'll be.
The problem I have with that, it needs to offer something more than a PlayStation, and a PlayStation is so cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is the problem I had with Steam machines, because it sort of suggested that they were going to consoleify
Yeah.
PC gaming to an extent where that would extend also to the cheapness of the hardware.
Yeah.
Because that's the barrier for entry with PC gaming. If you had a little box that cost not that much more than a PS4 that ran Steam and could run all modern games to at least an acceptable standard, I could see the point. But then they like released a sheet where all these companies were making Steam machines,
Yeah.
and they were all like $3,000.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What's the point? I'll just
It just trying to make the process of buying a PC simple. Then
Yeah.
they confused it more by doing about 50 Steam
And
machines.
it's like you've not changed the process of buying them. I mean, whichever way you do it, you're still chucking lots of money.
They've
at
basically
that
just
thing.
proved why consoles exist. Like,
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's just like consoles exist as a way for people to play games very easily and relatively cheaply compared to a PC.
And it's not like those companies that are manufacturing the various different kinds of Steam machines can do them as loss leaders.
yeah,
So,
unless
yeah.
Valve really go for it and do something where they sell something potentially at a loss, it's still going to be expensive. Like, the dream of having a PC that is cheap and good is just a dream. I
Yeah.
think it's like you always have to cut corners somewhere, and at least with a console, it cuts corners, but that's what you have for 4, 5, 6 years, and then you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about it. PC gaming for me is just a constant worry about, is it good enough? I mean, it used to be a lot worse because things evolved, things changed quicker back like when I was really into PC gaming.
10 years ago, you were getting like massive leaps in
Yeah,
GPUs
and these
every 3
days, like,
months.
you can buy something that's good and it will last years. Whereas I remember, like, I don't think these days you worry too much about specs as much. 'Cause you buy something that's good and it will just run stuff. I remember reading the back of boxes and going through every single thing and thinking, oh, bollocks, this SX processor isn't quite fast enough, and that's it doesn't work.
I told you, I convinced my dad to buy a new PC, like 1,500 quid,
Yeah.
because black and white needed 150 megabytes of installation.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Also, with the Steam controller now devolving to just being a controller, pretty much. Because do you remember when that came out? It had like two touch
Does it
screens
not
on
have
it.
the pads and stuff now?
Well, it does, but it had a lot more when it first got revealed. It had a lot more going into
It
it.
had like a screen on it, didn't
Yeah.
it?
They've just replaced that screen at the top with buttons, haven't they? But I think it still has those pads.
It has the pads on the side, but it had a lot more tech going into it when it first got revealed. And then
quite
it just came back
interested,
with buttons and all this.
Yeah.
So it's just like what it was when they first revealed it, and then it was like, oh, here comes the small print, here comes the redesign, and then they went
Imagine
back.
if they did this with Half-Life 3.
Well, that would be. I mean, the problem is, like, say they launched a Steam machine, and that was the only way you could get Half-Life 3. That in like a, well, that would be good, wouldn't it? Kind of way. It sounds like it'd be a good idea, but then they'd lose. Like, they'd sell a ton on consoles as well, so
Yeah.
they'd be shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
In a way.
I think that Steam controller looks horrendous.
It does. It
Surely
really looks
Half-Life
bad.
3
I mean,
would
I'm
come to
even-
console.
Would.
You what?
You think it would?
Yeah.
Surely it
console?
wouldn't.
Yeah.
Half-Life 3 will.
You think it would?
Yeah.
All the others
Why
will come
wouldn't
to
it?
console.
Yeah, it has to. Like, not
Wouldn't
straight
think
away.
Valve would keep it as a Steam exclusive.
Not straight away.
Really?
No.
Fair enough.
Why wouldn't they? It's just
I've always just in my head. That's how I've always pictured it.
easy money, isn't
I
it?
can't. It'd be like.
I don't. Yeah, but you would lose money, wouldn't? Like you can control the entire cost and price and margin and all that on your platform.
Yeah, but then they do that for 2 years, and then 2 years later they'll bring it out on PS4 and Xbox One. There's just more money.
I'd be amazed.
I know,
if-
like
if
Portal and all
Half-Life-
that's come out on.
If Half-Life 3, if it ever comes out, or any Valve game really going forward, say they do Left 4 Dead or whatever, and they don't just do like multiplayer, free-to-play type stuff, I'd be amazed if it doesn't launch consoles at the same time. Like Portal was a kind of a that to me that is how they will go forward making proper.
really thought about it that much.
proper
They did a
games,
weird
but-
thing, Paul, didn't they? They gave you the PC version for free.
Yeah.
On PS3.
Yeah, Portal 2, yeah, because you make dual accounts, and you could cross-play as well, couldn't you, for the co-op?
I think you could. Yeah.
Between
That
them.
was
That was
weird.
good.
And they
It
made
was
a big
good,
thing
yeah.
about having Steam on PS3.
Yeah,
Not really.
my Steam account is tied to my PSN. That was the way
Yeah,
I did
same
it.
here.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Yeah.
it's like looking at it now. When people keep saying about Half-Life 3, but Valve has no reason to make Half-Life 3. They make too much money.
No.
Why make the
Well,
game?
more money.
No, but the amount of development time and cost that it would take.
They could
it's
just take as long as they want.
There is
It's
no
just-
reason to make
just,
that game.
It's like, yeah, I never thought J.K. Rowling would finish off the Harry Potter saga. Because before she finished it, she was like a billionaire.
Yeah, why make Half-Life 3? There's
Once you've reached that point,
no
you just
need.
stay in bed, wouldn't you?
No, they just
But
making
never mind.
money every day. They just said, look at the money, tie up on the Steam set, everything. It's like, yeah,
but they
just
make
imagining-
loads of
Just
money
imagine
from
Gabe
Half-Life
Deal's
3.
office is just like his bed.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah, exactly. Just looks up, checks the account, and then just goes back to bed.
gives no fucks. We still got billions of dollars. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
My work-
it
my
just
work
rings up
is
his
done.
accountant. Wait, how much is it? Oh, all right then, back to
Yeah,
bed.
yeah.
Good night.
Anyway, last question. Chris Hatton and somebody called I Like Some Games. That's his name. They've both asked about Fallout 4. Will we see Fallout 4 this year? And the other guy says, do you think Bethesda will announce Dishonored 2 or Fallout 4 this year?
I'd love to see another Dishonored game. I'd love it.
Bethesda, what have they got on there? They've got Doom. We know about Doom is coming.
Elder Scrolls console.
Any word on the beta? Yeah, for
what?
Doom. For Doom,
No,
because you got the
no.
Wolfenstein.
I mean, Doom. I assume Doom. I mean, they're going to reveal it to everyone else that didn't see it at QuakeCon, aren't they? So we'll see something of that. I assume at E3, and they've got
I'd be shocked if Fallout wasn't the end of the year
what announced or released.
released.
Really?
What, at the end of this year?
So they showed Doom and Fallout at E3 then?
I just feel like
It is due, but I don't know.
what else would they have?
They've kept
it
Doom's
so
not going to be
quiet.
ready.
well, if Doom's not ready, why is Fallout going to be ready?
Fallout or Dishonored.
I think
imagine, at the end of this year.
Fallout 4 is going to be teased this year at some point.
I'd
Maybe
be
towards
surprised
the
to
end
see
of
a
the
new
year.
Wolfenstein before we see a new Fallout. Like,
Really?
just because I imagine that game they'd put out a lot quicker. But I don't know. Like, it would make sense, like in terms of time. Like, it's been ages, hasn't it? But I'm
Yeah.
surprised they haven't just done a Skyrim next gen
HD,
port,
yeah,
just
Ultra.
to see us through to something else. Because
No.
it'd be, as far as like I'm sure it takes some work, but they'd sell a ton of copies of
They
that.
must
really-
have something
I'm
coming
really
out.
annoyed with the
quickly.
bastards, to be honest, because I bought a fucking PC because they hadn't re-released Skyrim. That's essentially the only reason I did it. I mean, all that stuff I wrote last year was lies. It was just about Skyrim in 1080, wasn't it? But yeah, I'm convinced that Fallout 4. I was convinced we were going to get something about it last year, but I think we'll get. Because there's been hints, right? I think we'll
If
get.
it's not E3, I'll be amazed.
I think we'll get a proper
I
announcement.
reckon they'll
I don't think we'll
announce it.
see anything.
I'm not sure it'll come out though.
Thing is, though, is Dishonored's
Yeah, I don't know.
Arcane, right? It's Arcane Studios that does this. So they haven't been doing
I
anything.
mean, they're not. I mean,
They could just be doing Dishonored 2
I was going to
because
say. I mean, presumably they're doing Dishonored 2.
yeah, and
because they're just
Dishonored was
quietly giving
amazing.
away on something,
It was
aren't
so good, Dishonored, and again, that's something that they could be bringing forward, and
I'm
it
surprised
doesn't
that hasn't
affect
been
the
re-released as well. There's loads of games I think they could just re-release in the time between the next version. I know
Yeah.
people are against remasters, but lots of those games that came out towards the end of last gen look loads better on PC, even just in higher res and better frame rates. They look a lot
Bioshock and
better.
all that, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know we've gone off
especially with
topic
that
slightly, but-
switching like to 2K and with Irrational doing what they're doing.
I mean, we've been through all this before, haven't we?
Like Skyrim, doing a HD remaster for Skyrim would take like zero effort because
Do you think they'd
they've
have to
already
do it as
got
like
all the
a-
high-res assets.
They probably have to do it as a collection though,
Just
with
hire
like
a modding
Skyrim and
team to port it.
Oblivion.
There you go. The modders can just do it all.
Yeah.
Just give them a bit of like.
problem they've got is that they've all been so devalued on PC because you can
Yeah.
catch them up
That's
for like
true.
Yeah.
£3.
True, yeah.
That's very true.
But
Yeah,
they-
to really
but
release it, it's
people
like
would buy
50
it.
quid.
People would buy it for.
Buy the
30
Game of the
quid or
Year
40
edition for
quid.
$2.99.
Yeah, you'd have to do a bundle. You'd
But I
have to
imagine
do
something like The Last of Us Remastered would be a much easier sell than like Bioshock Infinite, say,
If you
on
think about
PS4.
how insane is that though? You're getting like a 200-hour game for £3.
Yeah. Same with Bioshock though. Is like that was I paid $2.50 for that on Steam.
Yeah.
So you're right in the devaluation.
That's shite though, isn't it? Anyway, probably better wrap this up because we're going over time now.
I've hurt my nose.
What, by leaning
Have
onto
you,
the mic?
have you banged your nose off the mic stand?
No, on the this pop shield. It's quite sharp, actually. Can we sand them down?
Why do you lean on it? Why do you?
If no one else gets anywhere near as close as you.
No.
But you can't hear me if I don't lean forward.
Why not?
Yeah, you sort of make love to the pop shield and stuff.
Yeah,
Dave.
you're like Liam Gallagher
a
when
bit too close to it.
he sings. You're on the mic.
It's like I'm eating out a cream egg.
Oh my god.
By the way, very disappointed in the new cream eggs. People keep saying they don't taste any different, and I beg to differ.
You have a.
I think you built it up in your head as a thing that you were going to be down on it, and automatically.
No, I love cream eggs.
You have an attuned
You
palate
felt
for
you
cream
had to
eggs.
There
make
is
a
nothing.
stand.
There is nothing I want more than a delicious cream egg.
Right, I'm putting my foot down now because this is farcical and it's gone on far too long.
I was,
love how Jim
I was
has to look
harsh with the
after
5
you.
out of 10, but it was more of one of those disappointed scores than a accurate reflection.
It's a fanboy score. You're saying. It's like
Right.
a reaction.
Say goodbye, Dave.
Why?
Say goodbye because we're wrapping up.
Where are we going?
We're going back to our desks.
No.
Yeah. So
If anyone wants to come in, by the way, and say hello to me at my desk,
thanks.
just let me know.
Thanks
Come
very
in.
much. Thanks very
they're
much
not
for
allowed.
listening.
People are not allowed just to walk in.
No. What's wrong
Remember,
with
there's
you?
details about the competitions we're running in the description.
I said I'd take people for drinks.
Say goodbye, Dave.
Or everyone can say goodbye to Dave, whichever
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
choice is.
Right. I'm just going to stop recording now.